Just too casual. See, the great thing about the YouTube audience is you guys kind of get the behind the scenes too. It's not just like don't tell anyone that you get the behind the scenes footage, but if you do, don't tell Spotify or SoundCloud or any other place that this podcast is featured on. Shh. One of the things that I've really been thinking about is this question of, am I doing enough for you, God? Am I focusing on the right things? Am I spending enough time doing this? Am I doing enough for you, Jesus? It's this weird concept and this weird question that at least for me I face often. And here's the thing, I struggle with the pride that comes from being busy. I love talking about it, and I promised before entering this podcast space that I would refrain from going into detail all the things that I do, because as much as I want to, it's pride. It's this pride in my life of, hey, let me prove to you that I'm just this super busy person. And it's like, why am I elevating myself? I am nothing but a sinner saved by grace. I am nothing but a broken person. And if it wasn't for Jesus, I would be dead. Like, that's it. That's my entire story. And that's why Jesus must get all the glory for all that I do. Anything good that comes from me, man, God gets that glory completely. Because I'm just a sinner. I'm just a broken person. And so, with that being said, that's a question that has been coming to mind of, am I doing enough for you, God? I've been thinking about how I've been spending my time and spending my days. And that is this question that comes to mind. And someone who doesn't know much about the Christian life, or maybe someone who does know a lot about the Christian life but doesn't understand where I'm coming from, you might be like, well, like, what? Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Aren't you, if you're saved by grace and your salvation is from your faith in Jesus and faith that He is Lord and that Jesus was raised from the dead, like, why does it matter if you're doing enough? Isn't that just works-based salvation? That's not what Christianity is about. And that's true. That's absolutely true. And it's not this fear that, oh man, if I'm not doing enough, I won't get into heaven. No, it isn't that. I know that my salvation is secure. I know that Jesus has this immense love for me. I understand that salvation is through faith alone, grace alone. I understand that. But it's more of like, it's not coming from this fear, but this desire. You read the Great Commission in I just read that recently in the book of Mark. Go and make disciples. Go share the gospel essentially. Go do the work that Jesus is calling you to do. And so there's this desire of like, man, like, I was put on this earth for a purpose. I am given worth through Christ. I want to do something that points to Jesus forevermore, that gives God the glory every single day. This life is not about me, it's about him. And so that's where this is coming from, of, man, like, if I'm here for a purpose, man, God, like, use me, please. And the fear that may come from it would really just be this fear of, man, I hope I am understanding God correctly. And we Christians talk about the will of Jesus. What's God's will for my life? And though I believe in a sovereign God, I do struggle sometimes with thinking that it's more on me to chase his will rather than God's will already being laid out for me. It's almost like I approach it like a puzzle or a maze. Like, oh man, I hope I'm doing the right thing, and I hope I'm going down the right path, and man, hopefully this works out. When really, I think God's will is more of just like a, hey, you're seeking it, and that is enough, and and it's crafted for you, and it's not a maze, it's not a test, it's not like it's supposed to be ridiculously hard. It's like a yellow brick road. But yeah, that's just something that's been on my mind, of just, how do I use my time? How do I use my time? And there's this balance, at least that I struggle with, of knowing what's fair and knowing what's pride. And so let me break that down for you a little bit. So the pride in me thinks, oh man, I need to be like the busiest Christian in the world. Like, let me just be so busy with all these godly things, so that way I can just talk about it and share about it. There's a pride from that, thinking that, because I do this, I'm righteous. I'm more righteous than this person, which is, again, so dumb. Like, Kira, quiet. And so there's a fine line between that and being realistic. Thinking about how do I spend my day? What fills my mind, my thoughts, my actions? Is there, like, where is my identity? And how do I think about God throughout the day? And I think it's very easy to slip into that mindset of, like, you say, Kira, you say that this life isn't about you, but, like, why can't it be? Why can't you just live life the way that you want to? Why are you so focused on God's will or God's desires? Like, why can't you just live your life for you? And there's a lot of Christian answers I could pull out right now, but that's not what this podcast is. And for me, there's this term, kingdom oriented, God's kingdom. And I am just focused on that. And before you say, wait, before you say, Kira, that's just the cheesy Christian answer. What's the real thought? Like, what's going on? And honestly, like, it's, at least for me, knowing that God sent Jesus into the world, not to condemn it, but to save it. And knowing that not everyone on this earth is going to believe in Jesus, that just brings just this deep-rooted sadness on my heart. And so when I say kingdom-oriented, and this life is not about me, because it isn't. It's about Jesus. And I want to just point people to Jesus. Man, if people follow me, that's dumb. I'm going to disappoint you. But if people find Jesus through me, that's the goal. That's it. And for me, I can't just sit around living a life for me, knowing that I'm saved, yet knowing that there are people around me who aren't. Like, that just doesn't sit well inside of me. It's, yeah, I don't know, I can't, like, understanding that and understanding how salvation is this free gift, and for some people they will never accept Jesus as Lord, that breaks my heart, and I can't just sit here and live my life for me knowing that. And so, again, I'm not using this podcast as a, hey, let's let me just talk about it, and hopefully through my thoughts and through voicing it, I'll find my conclusion and my answer. No, this is me being real, and these are the things that keep me up at night. And so I share this not only because there's a possibility that you may relate to this idea of, like, am I doing enough for God? Am I doing His will? Am I making enough time and energy for Jesus, or am I just focused on, the things that matter to me, the things that are under the sun, as the book of Ecclesiastes would put it? Am I focused on too many temporary things and not enough on the eternal and above the sun things of this world? Or I guess, of this world. This is raw and unedited. But I share this also because prayer is amazing. And I will always have an answer if you ask me for a prayer request, because I'm a flawed person, and there's always something that needs prayer. Absolutely. And so I do just pray over that. Pray that I have the wisdom to know the line between making good use of my time without it being a pride issue. Making time for Jesus without it becoming this thing of, like, hey, like, let me show you how righteous I am because I do all these things. It's like, if that ever gets to me, if that's ever my mindset, then I already know I'm on the wrong path. Because that's not how Jesus was, and you see that through the gospel. So, that being said, all those messy thoughts and tangents, I'm just gonna pray over everything, if you're okay with that. Dear God, I thank you for your grace and your love. And I thank you that your will for my life is not this messy puzzle, God. It is not this ridiculous corn maze that I paint in my head sometimes. God, your will for my life is there, and I just need to seek it. God, and I pray that I can seek your kingdom first and above everything else, as Matthew puts it, Lord. As the book of Matthew puts it, I pray that I am seeking your kingdom and things of you first and foremost. This life is not about me, God, but I also pray for the balance of it. I pray that I can be proactive as a Christian, but also find rest in you, because that's one of the things that I completely overlook. That you are there for us when we need rest, and we do need rest badly. God, so I just pray all these things, Lord. I pray for wisdom and guidance. God, I pray that I can seek you in a way that honors you fully and wholeheartedly. God, I just pray all these things in your name. Amen.